The movie takes place in the 16th century along the Chinese shore, where Commander Yu Daiyu of Zhejiang leads thousands of Ming soldiers to charge the barricades of Japanese pirates, known as wokou, in Shengang. The Ming soldiers were easily overpowered due to the advantage of the archers and gun units in the pirates' elevated position. Yu was also struck by several arrows during the battle. When the wokou opened the gate and released their ronins, Yu commanded his men to retreat. After the battle, the Japanese general, Master Yamagawa, and the rest of his soldiers celebrated their presumed victory that day. One soldier even mocked the Ming for besieging the same day with the same strategies. Back at their post, Yu tends to his wounds, and the Supreme Commander of Zhejiang, Hu Zongxian, introduces him to the Assistant Regional Military Commissioner, Qi Jiguang, who advises Yu to rest for a while from leading Ming troops and let Qi take over. But Yu is yet to be impressed by Qi. Currently, Qi leads the Ming army, with Lu Nan as his right hand, to fight the pirates in Shengang. The soldiers have been observing for days and questioning why Qi is delaying the attack. Then, one rainy night, when the pirates are celebrating in their station, the soldiers suggest attacking. However, Qi states that the move would be too predictable. In the early morning of the next day, Qi decides to launch their ambush because the Japanese have let their guard down. The Ming troops manage to destroy the wokou barricades and lessen the pirates' numbers with their fighting skills. The general of the pirates concludes that they must retreat, which Yamagawa disagrees with. Still, the general insists that they cannot afford further casualties. As part of the strategy, Yu meets Qi's troops when their signal is released. They manage to demolish and kill many ronins, but a large number of the pirates escape. They inspect the area and see nothing but fragments of silver left by the pirates. A person who claims to be a captive approaches Qi and tells him that more prisoners need liberation. As they go to the prisoners' cells, Yu notices that one of the purported captives has a weapon, so he immediately informs his comrades. Unfortunately, this leads to another conflict between the Ming soldiers of Yu and Qi and the remaining pirates. The Ming forces defeat them, and the remaining pirates settle to retreat. After some time, Lu Jiabin of the Imperial Secret Service comes to the battlefield in Shengang. He orders Yu to be impeached for failing to seize all the pirates and for being accused of colluding with them. Yu has no choice but to accept the judgment. A few days pass, and Qi visits Yu in his prison cell, where they even have a friendly duel to show their skills in using a staff. The next morning, Commander Qi and his wife, Madame Qi, spend their day together in Shinhi. They have lunch in a diner where some of the Ming soldiers are drunk and start a ruckus, which Qi ends by soundly beating them. Later that day, in the plains in the city of Shinhi, they enjoy arm wrestling, a game where he intentionally lets his wife win. Subsequently, a craftsman introduces his creation to Qi, a mud horse, a piece of wooden equipment that can be used to skate through the mud. Then they stop by the village of Yiwu, where they witness the villagers fighting against the residents of Yongkang over the gold and metal ores they can acquire from the mines. According to Zhao Dahu, the county magistrate of Yiwu, their area is poor and barren, and the villagers put immense effort into supervising the only place they can gather their riches. Upon seeing and understanding their situation, Qi immediately reports to Commander Hu. He has decided on which troop of soldiers he wants to train. Talking about the Yiwu villagers, he seems amused by their fighting spirit. Hu brings up that there has been a message that Qi spoke ill of him. In the report, Qi states that Hu is currying favor with Zhao Wenhua, replacing Zhang Jing, and plans to kill him. Hu reminds him that the walls have ears and he must keep his political opinions to himself, as he is not knowledgeable enough. Instead, he must focus on leading war strategies. Regardless, Hu grants Qi's financial needs to train the soldiers of his choice. The next scene shows Qi and his companions in Yiwu village. The residents are in front of the magistrate, explaining that they are invited to join the army. Da Cheng, one of the villagers, seriously refuses the proposal and declares that anyone who agrees will be his enemy. The villagers submit to his response with great trust and respect. He adds that they are being made to join the army to take over their mines. Afterward, Qi drops by the mines in Yiwu, where he witnesses the men forging their ores. They call for Da Cheng to speak with them and persuade him to join the army. Qi assures him they will protect them from the Yongkang villagers and their real enemies, the pirates. To end their exchange, they decide to settle the decision with a duel, which Qi happily grants. They fight with their fists, and eventually Qi knocks Da Cheng down and states that he accepts his surrender, which Da Cheng disapproves of. They move throughout the mine, with Qi dodging every attack. Then, during one of Da Cheng's aggressive moves using a wooden staff, he strikes one of the wooden platforms inside the mine that carries children. If Qi had not supported the broken podium, the other men would not have been given the time to assist him, and the children would have fallen onto the fire. The duel is settled, and Da Cheng is now persuaded to join him and his men in the army, alongside his promise to keep the mines protected. In Shinhi, the soldiers trained daily to prepare for battle against the Japanese pirates. They practice using their spears, swords, cannons, and arrows, and are reminded to obey the orders of their general. They consistently work out, even as seasons change. Master Yamagawa and the general plan their war strategies on the Japanese soldiers' ship. Yamagawa informs them that the Kohada's Ronins have already set out to Ninghai. He reminisces about their fight in Qinggong, saying they should have counterattacked Qi. However, the general ascertains that for them to win, they must deploy Ronins in Ninghai to make Qi's troops travel and fight in one day. At the same time, they will engage in Taizhou while Qi's troops are occupied with Ninghai. Lastly, they will charge them to make Qi choose between defending his land and his family. Meanwhile, Qi and the other commanders also deliberate in their residence. Regarding numbers, they are significantly disadvantaged, having only over 3,000 men compared to the 20,000 Japanese pirates. Hu aggressively commands that they must end the threat of the pirates as soon as possible, since they are aware that the pirates in Ninghai are yet to make their move. Qi bravely says that he is willing to take the bait and concludes that he will lead his new army to Ninghai to strike the enemies there. The following day, they travel to Ninghai, which is considered a suicide mission. In Ninghai, the Ronins wait for the Ming army led by Qi. As they observe the army fast approaching, General Kohada commands them to launch an attack. Qi perceives that the Ronins are not 20,000 in number and realizes there may be an ambush, so they have to disperse their men. The Ronins shoot at them with cannons, but their shields are impenetrable. The Ronins charge quickly at the enemy, unaware of the horizontal excavation guarding the Ming army. The Ronins fall into the pit and lose their position, allowing the Ming soldiers to stand on the elevated ground and have the upper hand in dominating the battle. After Kohada ordered them to retreat, over 300 of their men died, while the Ming only had a few soldiers injured. After a while, a messenger tells Qi, according to Hu, that Japanese soldiers have been spotted nearby Shinhi. Qi scrutinizes the situation and acknowledges that the real target of the Japanese is Taizhou. Additionally, he claims he is at ease because his wife is in Shin, and he trusts that she will protect the city. Back in Shinhi, Madame Qi refuses to leave the village, even though her brother Yang tries to convince her. She is steadfast in her decision to remain. She instructs Xiaomo to bring her armor. She responds that, as the general's wife, she must not abandon the city and must defend alongside their people. She departs her home wearing her armor, assembles the army, and leads them onto the walls of Shinhi. Seeing the soldiers unite to prepare their defense, Brother Yang accompanies them in their preparation, changing his mind about leaving them behind. A messenger notifies Qi about the Japanese soldiers in Huajie, 4 miles outside the city. This strengthens his deduction that the enemies are after Taizhou, so they advance to Hua later that day. The Japanese general claims that Qi has finally bitten the trap and is about to fall into it. From afar, they observe the Ming soldiers and their newly equipped weapons. The general orders all his troops to encircle the Ming army and use long bamboo poles to counter their shields. As the Ming soldiers are cornered and shot by marksmen from roofs, Qi has to climb up to one of the roofs to better understand where the commanders are. A runner briefs Master Yamagawa and the other commanders that Qi's troops are making their way through the alleys toward them. Knowing this, the general plans to drive them back to the main street so they can encircle them again. On the other hand, Yamagawa suggests that their gun units must not remain on the rear side, but the general condemns this. He reminds him and Kohada not to underestimate their duty. Some runners report to the general and tell him that some of the Ming soldiers are discovered near Zixi Lane, while some are fighting Kanoshida's men in the market. Moreover, some were situated near the shrine. Thus, the Ming troops were widespread. One of the commanders directs them to take them down. After a few seconds, the Ming soldiers fast approach the general's area, and Qi faces him. The soldiers then move into a position to defend themselves against the assaults of the Ming troops. Meanwhile, Kohada expresses that everyone else is contributing to the battle except them. He thought it was Yamagawa who should be conducting the war. Yamagawa questions why the general is not leading their campaign and repeats his point of deploying the gun units in front. Kohada agrees with him and says that the general only protects him because his father could blame him if anything happens. He convinces Yamagawa to join their forces to instantly take out the Ming army. Finally, he says he wants revenge, and Yamagawa desires a well-established reputation. Despite being told to protect the rear, the two decide to proceed with their plan. The The general is confused about what Yamagawa is trying to do as he leads his gun units in the vanguard and confronts Chi's soldiers. They fire at Chi, and smoke immediately covers the battlefield. Chi's men are taken down, causing them to lose their position. Later, Kohada's Ronins are about to launch their attack. Fortunately, Chi's cannon soldiers arrive just in time for backup. They fire their cannons at the Ronins, dismantling them, but are also unfortunate and unable to evade the cannons themselves. At the same time, in Shinhi, Madame Chi governs her people in maintaining their defenses. Some pirates manage to climb up the walls, but Madame Chi can defend herself against them. Later, the pirates finally blow the gates, so the Ming soldiers immediately block the entrance from the inside and trap them with explosives. However, more pirates scale the walls and the gates, killing many residents of Shinhi, including women. In their relief, some of the Ming army return to support them, providing motivation and morale to the people. However, Brother Yang, still on the walls, is unluckily murdered by one of the pirates. Madame Chi comforts and assures him that the city is safe, and the conflict continues in Shinhi. As the pirates from Taizhou are escaping from the Ming soldiers, Chi, in the lead, perseveres to follow them to end the fight. The Japanese pirates are making their way to their ship to retreat, confident in their distance. However, the Ming soldiers use the mud horses to quickly close the gap between them and the enemy, which they successfully do. They launch their raid on the pirates, forbidding them to escape. Due to the Ming's fast movements, the pirates could not prepare their ships to sail. Meanwhile, the general gives his final order to Master Yamagawa to escape without him. Yamagawa regrets acting on his own accord back in Taizhou without respecting the order of the general. He apologizes while the general insists that Yamagawa leave without him. The Ming army invades the ship and overwhelms the pirates. They also explode their vessel to ensure that no one escapes. The general commands Chi for making his army stronger. Despite the gap in their numbers, it seems unbelievable that the Ming is winning the war. The general waits in one of the rooms on the ship while the other Ming soldiers fight, with prisoners of war being spared. Chi eventually finds his way to where the general is, where they have an unspoken resolution to end the war between the two commanders. At the first strike, the general, a trained samurai, cuts Chi's sword in half. Then they move throughout the ship, serving as their battlefield. They continue their fight as they move and reach the ship's deck. Chi then disarms the general, who swiftly changes his weapon to a shorter sword. Chi disarms him once again, and they proceed to a fistfight. Finally, Chi corners him and states that he must accept surrender and asks for his name. However, the general refuses to give him an answer. The general moves toward his sword and picks it up. He challenges the Ming soldiers to attack him, but Chi stops them. The general states "Chi Ji Guang" as his last words before he stabs himself, committing the act of seppuku. The movie ends with the Ming Empire finally claiming victory, and Shinhi triumphantly defended by Madame Chi. So, what did you think of the movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.